This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome aboard for your very own live and interactive safari right here in Djuma. My name is Trishala with Darby on camera this warm afternoon. It's about 27 degrees Celsius, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and it is time for short sleeve t-shirts or shirts. I don't even have a jacket on, and you know how much I dislike the cold. And a very special warm welcome to our kids. Remember that you can send your questions to kidsquestions@wilder.tv, and we can chat about all sorts of things, even the weather and how windy it is today. Of course, as soon as I want to tell you how windy it is, the grass decides not to dance in the wind. Nope, no dancing grass for us. But it is also something interesting when it's windy, and that is that sound travels through the air. It uses the air to move around, and when it's windy, it's very difficult to hear properly. So the wind does pose a challenge. Ben and Emily, you'd like to know, well, what animals are we going to see today? Well, I hope that we'll be able to see some birds, some antelope. We can always count on those two. But I'm hoping that we might also see some elephants and maybe a leopard. Wouldn't that be awesome? I think that would be awesome. So that's what we're going to work towards. Now, I am in the western side of Djuma in South Africa. And this is where I'm going to be looking today. Of course, I might on if I find bugs or I hear any clues. The bush might give me some clues in the form of sounds, but then we spoke about the fact that sound uses the air to move around, and when the air is all turbulent and windy, then sometimes the sounds can be distorted. So we're going to have to pay extra attention. Well, while we keep moving on, I'm going to send you over to Taylor, and she has a warthog for you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Our warthogs have just disappeared, but there they are. They're sneaky little creatures this afternoon. I don't think they know what to do because it's quite windy here at Pridelands this afternoon. But at least the sun is shining and there is some warmth on our skin. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is, well, still Chat, like every other day. And like I said, we're driving around on Pridelands. I'm going to shoot forward and let's see if we can get another view. So I'm really excited to meet all the kids that sent through their questions today. There we go. So I hope you've got some questions about elephants and warthogs, because we're definitely going to see lots and lots of them. Here we go. We've got two warthogs. And one of my favorite warthogs is here, and that's the one on the left-hand side. We see her fairly regularly. She was just at the dam, at Ndlovu Dam, and having a little bit of a drink. She doesn't look like she's had much of a wallow. But the reason why I know that she is this warthog is because she's missing her left ear, or at least a part of it. And we've actually been trying to catch them going back into their burrows. So maybe this evening, because it's a little bit cooler, they will head on home a bit earlier, because they live in these big burrows underneath the earth. And that's her friend on the right-hand side, who she also seems to spend a lot of time with. He's very excited by her. Isn't that such a lovely shot? Now, I don't see a warthog's mane. That very hairy creatures and all that hair between their ears. So that's very, very coarse and very thick. And when warthogs get agitated, you'll see them erect that hair as well as their tail. Thank you for being so cooperative, warthogs. But like a long sort of snout like a pig. They've got very, very good sense of smell, wiggling their nose around to dig for food. They normally eat lots of grass, and at this time of day, they'll be eating grass roots. They might eat tubers and some bulbs if they get the opportunity. Lovely. So you're going to see where these pigs go, because their burrow is actually not too far away from here. But there's still a few more safari guides that you need to meet. Let's go over and say hello to Rowan.
Good on and welcome to And Beyond Ngala for this end of the Sunset Safari with me, Rowan, and Odie behind the camera. Where we are now is not too far west from where you left me this morning. So still driving the riverbed, still checking to see if we can find out where this lioness went with her cubs. So far, no fresh tracks, which is a bit of a shame. So my thought process behind it, the reason why I'm checking the river is because the thicker vegetation is always right next to the banks of the Timbavati River. So if she's still denning, if she's still hiding her cubs, it would make sense to bring them back to this sort of area. But we've been driving this track. Now, of course, we can't see tracks on either side, on the southern side or the northern side. So she may have walked on the side of the river, close to the bank, instead of right in the middle. But we're hoping, well, fingers crossed, that she's just lying down in the sand somewhere with both cubs playing over her. Well, that's what I've been hoping for. Anyway, it is the kiddies session, so of course send your questions and comments through to us on kidsquestion@wildearth.tv. We'd love to hear from you. All the kiddies are very excited to see lions. Well, I really hope I don't disappoint you. No pressure at all whatsoever. Still haven't seen any tracks of this lioness. I mean, we're driving west. Maybe she moved east. You never know. Then what we'll do, we'll definitely have more time to investigate it in the next couple of days. We might just have to go for a short walk to see if we can find any of her fresher tracks. But still a very cool area to drive in the river. You never know what you can find. Good place for leopard, good place for elephant, good place for buffalo. Basically good place for anything, really. Good place for birding. You can hear all the Aramark babblers off to the side. Let's listen to that sound quick. Yeah, how they are babbling. Now they stop. No, there they go. Very loud. And of course, they just babble for absolutely no reason. Now they stopped. Can't actually see them in there, just hear them. Well, thanks for babbling for us. Okay, so we're going to continue in the river, but for now, send you over to Trish, who just stopped for some very alert impala, apparently.
I have stopped for some impala. Now, impala are some of those animals that predators just love to eat. So it's really nice to stop and watch, firstly, how beautiful they are, as they're a very pretty antelope. And secondly, they're very, very aware and alert. So they can alarm call and let us know that maybe they smell a predator, they see a predator that we can't see in the tall grass. Because they're so used to their family members being taken by predators. It sounds very sad, but everybody has got to eat. So that's why we're sitting and watching them. See if there's any clues they can give us. But so far it seems quite quiet. Hello, Hanno. You're 12 years old and you'd like to know which university do you study at to become a guide? Do you even have to go to university? You don't have to go to university to become a guide. You do a course that the Field Guide Association of South Africa provides. And then you do a little exam, you do a workbook, you do a practical, and then you can get your level 1, and you can go up different levels, and you can become somebody who does bushwalk, so you can walk out in the wild as well. You don't just have to be in a vehicle. And I'd suggest that you could do that once you leave school. It's nice to have the knowledge that you would in high school before you go about doing your fugasa, because it just gives you a nice base from which to work with, because high school biology is really cool. I'm all for high school sciences. I did biology and chemistry and physics, and those helped me very much. But if you want, you can always study at a university and do biological sciences or a BSc, which is a Bachelor of Science, in any way that you like, because it also gives you a really nice base to start with, and then do your fugasa afterwards. And that's what I did. And I really like having a scientific background and thinking of things in a scientific way, as well as watching animal behavior firsthand, like I get to here. For you right now, I think the best thing is to be very curious, very interested, continue watching, and read as much as you can, and watch some cool documentaries, because animals and plants and nature in general just has so much to offer. Anyway, I'm not the only one out on Djuma. Steve is too, so let's go over and say good afternoon.
Good afternoon, boys and girls. Welcome to my vehicle. My name is Steve in the Sun, joined by BK. How are we doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. We are out and about, and I'm hoping to see if I can track down a female leopard with her cub. Excited. I'm very excited about that. We were tracking her this morning, and we gave up because of the time. And we've just found her tracks again. Now, I know we talk about it all the time. Tracks are very important when it comes to finding an animal, because animals walk in the sand. And thankfully, they leave these wonderful little marks for us on the road. Let me find you a nice clear one. It's not very clear. Can you see that? There's the back foot, the toes, and the front foot. Now we've just got to figure out how fresh these are. They seem to be from last night, early this morning. But I'm going to drive to the end of this road and see where they've come out, because Thandi, the famous leopard of our area, moved away yesterday because a lioness stole her food. And Thandi's also a mum at the moment, so a lioness in her area is a big problem for her. Lions do not like leopards, and leopards move away from lions because they're so much bigger. So she's a very good mum, and she knows there's lions around, so she moves her cub. And that's what we're going to try and do this afternoon, at least figure out where they've gotten to. Very good. Well, I've got her tracks here with the cub going east, and while we see if we can follow them, I'll send you over to and beyond Pinda to say good day to Clive.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to and beyond Pinda Private Game Reserve. My name is Clive, and behind the camera today we have Marcel, the one and only Marcel. Steve was just talking about how important for the tracks of that cheetah that we were come past a beautiful water. Just thought we'd come and sure they have came here. That we went straight back to where we left him this morning. And he's definitely moved from there. So it's exciting. We've got a bit of a tracking mission on our hands, which always ends up being one of the best ways to find animals, I think. By following those little track marks in the sand. Yeah, hard every time we... Sorry, apparently our signal's a bit jumpy here, so we're going to send you across to Rowan at Ngala again.
I must say I feel kind of left out. I'm not tracking anything yet. I'm just driving. Quite a pleasant afternoon though. Odie is in a very philosophical mood. He was saying earlier how my game drive is like a blank canvas and I can just paint it any way I want to. So there we go. Hit me with a deep one already. It's not even 3:30, Odie. I know. Anyway, it's a bit like my pool analogy from this morning. I like it though. So yes, we are still driving along the Tswalu riverbed and have not found anything. Lots of tracks though, of everything, lots of impala tracks, some warthog tracks, buffalo tracks, elephant tracks. No, like very fresh elephant tracks. Ah. Miss Conway's class has asked me a question. It's lovely to get a question from an entire class. It asks, how will I recognize the lioness with the cubs? So Miss Conway's class, I can't really say that she does have very identifying or strikeable features per se. However, like, she's a very big lioness and she's a young lioness. So she's only just over 4 years old, very pink on the nose, but really very well built, you know, thick shoulders, big chest, everything. So those are two things that we'll definitely look for. And for me, I think I've just grown used to her face. So I kind of know her face by now. I mean, the first time I saw her, she was this big. She was literally 6 weeks old when I saw her for the first time. So I've watched her grow up, and it's like knowing your own pet, in a way. Not saying she's a pet at all. I'll never jump off the vehicle and try, you know, scratch her belly. But it is kind of that sort of, I don't know, I just know her. And of course, if she's with her cubs, she's the only lioness here with cubs that we might be able to see. Or with those small cubs, that we know of. It'd be quite a nice surprise if we came across another lioness with cubs. So I'm just reversing to look at this track. Baboons. Okay, lots of baboon tracks in the river. Of course, that's quite normal. They often come sleep around these areas. Ah, okay, so sounds like Trish has found a wildebeest, I think, which she recognizes. So we're going to send you over to Juma.
This is a wildebeest. I recognize this wildebeest. His name is Sam. His name's not Sam, guys. I don't actually know this wildebeest, but it is definitely a wildebeest. Oh, now it has a friend as well. It's a red-billed oxpecker. I like these birds very much. Have you watched Madagascar, kids? Because they remind me of the penguins from Madagascar. See their eyes? They have beady eyes. They look a little bit sneaky to me, but I like it. And when they stand together on an animal, I feel like they're saying, smile and wave, boys, smile and wave. Can you see the grass starting to dance? It's getting really windy behind the wildebeest there. Oh! Yay! There's some zebra! Ah! That was super cool. Let's go forward a little bit. Wait, just do this. Amelia, you'd like to know, what is the rarest animal I have ever seen out in the wild? That is a good question. Does it have to be dead or alive, Amelia? Because if it's dead, then I know, but that wasn't in the wild. That is a good question. Well, wild dogs are pretty rare. In this area, in the Kruger National Park area, there's only about 300 individuals. Oh, I've seen a white-headed vulture, also quite rare. As for dead, or rather extinct, I have an ammonite, but it wasn't from the wild. It's from the museum that I bought. I did not steal it. Don't take things from museums. I saw a mountain zebra at Tswalu. Yeah. It's so hard to think when you spend so much time out here. It just feels like you've been seeing everything all the time. And then when someone asks you a question like that, you think, I don't know. But it was very, very cool. I think probably the white-headed vulture was the highlight or the nicest thing to see, because I had never seen one before, and it was right here on Djuma. And they're pretty uncommon in this area. In South Africa, there's only about 500 pairs of those vultures, so that was special. There's some things we don't actually get to see on Djuma very often, like a cheetah, but occasionally you do get a sighting with a cheetah, and it's just fantastic. I've only ever had two, I think, maybe three, two that I can remember right away. In fact, it was in this area because it's nice and open. Well, apart from that chunk of trees, but across it's a little bit nice and open, so cheetahs can run. So the fact that all these antelope are hanging around together means that they feel quite safe. And they'll want to bunch up because, again, of the wind. So the more eyes, the more ears that are out, the better it is. Emmanuel, you're 7 years old. So why is zebra so quiet? I'll ask them, okay? Zebra, Emmanuel would like to know why you're so quiet. They're giving you the silent treatment, Emmanuel. I heard a little bit of a as they walked through, but that was it. Yeah, those are very special. Oh, Emmanuel, did you hear that? I heard a... That was a very, very bad impersonation. That's a bit better. This zebra has some stunning vibration on its muzzle. Show us again. It also has a passenger on its tail. Ooh, look at that. Isn't it just beautiful in the sunlight? Natalie, you're also looking at this hair. Don't you wish that our chin hairs could glow like that in the sun? And that it would be regarded as beautiful. Because I think it's stunning. That's really important because those little hairs, at the base of each one of those hairs, side of the skin, there's a tiny little muscle, and a tiny muscle has a whole lot of blood vessels around it. So anything that little hair picks up is amplified by the movement of the blood at the base of that hair. So it's a very, very important thing to have in order to get an extra sense of your environment. So if my face is down and I'm busy chomping and chomping and chomping and I don't realize that there's a snake because I don't have vibration, then I might have had my last meal. But having these hairs, which are essentially whiskers, technical term for a whisker is a vibration. Ooh, windy. If I have those, then maybe I'll be able to detect the slightest movement of the grass, a snake nearby, or maybe even an insect that I don't want to eat. And we are one of the few animals that don't have those. Most animals do. Even when you see chimps have it as well. And it's really important. Animals also have it by their eyebrows and even sometimes on their forearms. So it's very important to give an extra sense of what's going on in the world around you. Now, if we look at these animals, they're all using their senses very much. So we spoke about the vibration, and that will help them to detect movement around them, help them to... Did you hear that? That is the sound of an alarm call, but I think this male is just a little bit nervous. He's just behind that bush. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see him. It's an impala ram. I think he's just a little bit nervous because of the wind, because he put his head down straight away. He's walking across now. If he continues to alarm, then we'll follow up. But also, at the moment, the males have had, over the past month, a lot of testosterone building up in them. So some have their head down. We've heard another alarm call. Again, so I'm going to go follow up. There's a little bit of movement, but I am going to send you over to Clive, who's following up on a cheetah while I follow up on these alarm calls.
Welcome back again, and sorry for the technical issues a little bit earlier. We are still driving around this area where we saw the cheetah earlier and giving it a area looking for these tracks of this cheetah with no luck just yet. But we are in the area. It hasn't been a terribly hot day, so there's a chance this cheetah has moved. Remember that from this morning it was, for those of you who were with us this morning, that cheetah was quite skinny, which means he was quite hungry, which means there's a good chance he's gonna move around and hunt. So that's probably what he's been doing this morning, during the day today. So we're just driving all the possible areas we can, trying to look for him. There's another animal that we haven't managed to show you on any of these live safaris since we've been doing it here, and that's a black rhino. And that is definitely one of the more special animals to find around here. And this area we're driving, for those of you who don't know the difference between the white and the black rhino, the black rhino feeds off of trees, obviously as a browser. So this kind of area with quite a few trees around would also be a very good area for black rhino, and that would be a special one. If we could find some fresh tracks, that would be a special one for us to follow as well. So some of you were asking this morning about hello Felix, welcome to the show. And if you were watching this morning, we were with that male cheetah, and that is my favorite animal in the world. Well, not so much in the world, but definitely in South Africa. I love following cheetah, I love looking for cheetah. It's always the most exciting, and they're such beautiful animals. The reason I like them as well is that they aren't nocturnal like the other cats. They move around and they hunt more during the day. And so you see them moving around a lot, whereas lions and things, you often find them when they're sleeping. But that's my personal opinion. So I'm always very happy on a little cheetah search like now. Now this might not look like ideal habitat for a cheetah. Alright, it sounds like Steve has a good tracking quiz for you guys. So enjoy that. Good luck.
Thanks, Clive. It's not really a quiz, but it's a really nice example of what we come across from time to time. And I wasn't out this area this morning, but all over the road in front of me, there's evidence of, I don't know if you can see it. Will I be better on that one there, Beeks? This one better or that one? This one. Okay, so evidence here. There's a beautiful track, lion track. Here's the front foot. Here's a leg. Actually, there's a back foot. Two lions lay here. Lions lay down. There's an entire body over here on the ground, and here is a tail. And the bottom, whole back over here, all the way up. There's a one leg, front leg, head. One lion, two lions, three lions, four lions. Beautiful tracks. Lions walk along the road and they get tired and they sit down. And they listen. In this case, they were looking that way. They walk along. You can see the tracks here. Walking, walking. And they stop and they just lie down. And they listen and they smell. And then up they get. And the evidence of the tracks is going straight through this game path here. There's no more tracks headed up that way. And there's always a lead lioness, or two lead lionesses that'll get up and everyone will follow. And those tracks have all, you can see here, veered off. Now, talking about tracks to indicate freshness, can you see these little things over here, BK? Can you see them? These are diurnal birds. This is actually the track of a sandgrouse that's been wobbling along. They're a daytime bird, and that happened probably already today, and these tracks were here sometime last night, very early in the morning. It's been quite windy today, so the tracks have been disturbed quite a bit by the wind, but you can tell that when somebody last drove here, this track is on top of that one. Okay, so definitely wasn't today, but maybe very early this morning or last night. A pride of lions was on the property, and they came in on the eastern side there. I believe it's the Torchwoods. They were seen at Torchwood Dam yesterday. Came on. The general direction of the wind is coming this way, so it would sort of cause them to walk towards the wind and into the wind. And they've cut up and straight up that pathway there. is Buffelshoek Dam. So let's go have a look at Buffelshoek Dam. It's helpful, boys and girls, if you're ever trying to track lions or leopards, to know where the water is, where the possible food is, where the valleys might be, and that can help you figure out where the lions are probably headed to. So that's what we're going to do. And Taylor knows all of that. She's over in Pridelands. Let's go back over to her.
Steve, I wish I knew. No, today I do sort of know where at least one of those cats are that you mentioned, and that's lions. So we're coming up to a dam as well, called Leopard Dam. I speak of this area quite often. It's one of my favorite places, but we're just slowly making our way around. So this morning I know I mentioned that we had a quick view of one of the male lions, but they were just hiding off in the thicket. So we left them. There was a few elephants moving in that direction. I think the elephants may have chased them a bit. So we'll just see what's happening at Leopard Dam, and then we'll go all the way around and maybe see if those lions have popped out. But I'm not going to go bashing on through to try and have a quick look at them. It's very, very thick in there. But they should come out. At some point, they will indeed come out. So I'm just having a look. Leopard Dam is just on our left. We've just sort of got a glimpse of it now. Just seeing if anybody is around. I might actually even see if we can't find a lion track, because the wind has picked up quite a bit, as I said earlier. And you all saw how fresh and how shiny those lion tracks were this morning. And I know Steve was just going on about how to tell the difference. It would be quite nice to see the same sets of tracks again, but a couple of hours later. And especially with this fine soil around, you'll see that those tracks get covered quite quickly. But I'm going to just poke my nose down to the water's edge. And then we shall have a look, because there were some tracks here. Oh, a bit bumpy. Now, young Eva, who's only 9 years old, has asked a question about why do male lions roar, and why are they the only ones that roar? So no, Eva, actually the female lions will also roar. They roar quite often too, to find one another. Big male lions will normally roar to tell other male lions that the area that they are living in is occupied, so that they're there and you mustn't come and fight with us, because I've got a big powerful roar and I'm going to chase you away. So that's the idea behind a roar. Let me go a little bit further forward. But the girls will do it too. Sometimes the prides get split up. Sometimes the family groups get so big that they can't always live together. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it nicely now. I'm going to quickly jump out of the vehicle. Let me just take one of these goodies with me. So this morning, the lions walked all the way down this pathway, and then they came through and had a drink. But I see that an elephant has been here recently. You can see, look, here's all the old elephant tracks. Not old, but you can see an elephant just stood in here and slid around. And it looks like where the lion stood through, because the lion actually put one paw in the water over there to reach the water's edge, it's now gone. It's completely gone. But it's nice to see that the elephants were here. Now, just remember, though, you mustn't go too close to the water's edge. And if you are, don't stay there for very long, because I don't know if there's crocodiles in there or not. And crocodiles will eat anything. So, especially someone that is not paying attention. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you any lion tracks, because it seems as though the elephants have disturbed them all. I mean, they didn't know that we wanted to show you them this afternoon. That's fine. Shall we look at this tree, though? This is lovely. So you can hear my car making a strange noise. It's just because we've lost a piece of rubber on the vehicle. So this is a weeping boerbean tree. It is lovely, but unfortunately you can see how the elephants have ripped the bark away. This is no good. Now, it's not good for the tree. Sorry, I'm just turning the volume down as I'm just talking to the directors. That's why you can see this purple earpiece thing. I promise I'm not listening to music. So basically what's happened is that an elephant a very long time ago had come here and stuck his tusk into the tree, those big teeth, those white things that you see off an elephant. I also must be careful and look for elephants, because we know they come here, and loosened it, and then he would have taken his trunk and ripped all the way up to the top. You can see right up top there, Kat, those little nudges. Can you see Do I need a pointing stick? Because I'm not as tall as an elephant. You see that? Those pieces there. That's actually where you can see a really big elephant has stuck his tusk in. So you can see it wasn't a very wide bit of the tusk, so it's not down closer to the skin. It's actually right at the tip of the tusk, which is normally a lot narrower. So that's how they start to loosen the bark. And they like to feed on it. They normally don't feed on these trees in the winter months, but they will, I mean, in the summer months, but they'll do so in winter. But luckily for us, this tree is not dead, it's still alive, so the bark hasn't been ripped all the way around. But it does become a big problem if all of this hard outer bark is ripped away and the cambium layer is also stripped away, then the tree can't get any nutrients from the ground up to the top of the leaves. But it seems as though Rowan has beaten us to finding an elephant. Let's go have a look at those nice big tusks.
Right, so we have, although Taylor, it's not a competition. Like I was saying earlier, we might, there's a good chance we find leopard or lion or buffalo or elephant in the river. And so this guy, basically asleep while eating. You can see the eyes are quite shut. I think Odie's trying to find the tusks there. He's got two very good looking tusks. Quite thin but very long. Nice big tusks. You can see the eyes are nearly shut. I think it's also the warmth of the winter sun. It's such a nice temperature. You could just fall asleep and it makes you quite lazy. Now you can see the trunk still working quite hard to flap the sand off. And every now and then he'll try dig in with his toenails to try cut the grass even shorter. But very, very, very relaxed. He's not even looked in our direction once since we've parked here. He's not flapped his ears at us once. Very relaxed. Oh, I think he's... There we go, Odie. Might come out. No, very slowly. Oh, his eyes are a bit more open now. He's actually trying to sniff around for what else he could eat. Still a lot of grass there. So that... Like I said, good looking tusks. Not incredibly thick, but quite long. See, I was giving the one leg a rest now. Oh, it's bent at the knee, or the ankle, really. Resting. As you can imagine, 6 tons weighing down on a foot could be quite heavy. And it's not like a human where it can sit down every half an hour or so. Elephants will remain standing. Although I think at his age, if he had to sleep, he would probably lean against a tree or a termite mound, rather. Even though he looks half asleep now, still wide awake and feeding. 4 days ago we saw an elephant. It looked quite similar to this, and also I remember commenting that the end of his tusks were very clean, very white, compared to the muddy back of it, and also quite long but not very thick. He was with a other younger bull. Might actually be the same one, maybe. It's not too far from where we saw him. Of course, these guys travel very, very far if they want to. Gabriel, who's 11, wants to know, is it true if elephants really like peanuts? Gabriel, out here, I have never seen an elephant eat a peanut. So it might be true, maybe, actually. Maybe at one of those elephant farms they feed them peanuts. But out here on Ngala, I've never shared any of my peanuts with elephants, so I cannot truthfully and honestly answer that question for you. I'm sorry about that, Gabriel. But I can imagine who does not like peanuts. I mean, come now. But maybe. Do you know, Odie?
I've heard rumours.
Odie says he's heard rumours. And I've seen it on cartoons. Emma, who's at Final Control, speaking into my ear, says she's seen an elephant eat a peanut butter sandwich before. Emma, I think you're lying, and that would be another cake as a fine. Just stacking up. So Gabriel, I'm not sure. you know, it might actually be. Oh, there's a lot of vultures coming in to where we are now. Lots of them swooping down. Although they do nest on the banks of the river in these very tall trees. I think a lot of them are just coming back towards their nests for the afternoon. They're quite cool to watch them land. Odie's lined one up. Let's see where he goes. Looks like a white-backed vulture. You can see there's a gentle breeze coming from the north, actually blowing south, so this vulture's actually flying right into it now. Almost looks like he's standing still. Okay, so we're going to sit here and see what happens with all these vultures, see if they can make their landings quite smoothly. But for now, I'll send you over to Clive, who's investigating something on the ground.
Welcome back, guys. Now, I know you did a bit of a tracking quiz with Steve just now, and I've got a little something different for you here. So as you can see along the ground here, there's big scrape marks along the ground from an animal, obviously. And right in the middle here, there's a little pile of dung. There's also a few pieces of dung scattered around. So whatever this was, firstly was big, because this is from its feet, and it's got a really big pile of dung. Try and see if you can think of what it might be. But in the meantime, have a look at this. So inside the dung, there are sticks. Look at these little pieces of stick here. Lots of little pieces of stick. This is another good one. And you'll notice that they're all cut off, bitten off at 45-degree angle like that. So this is very, very interesting. Firstly, remember just now we were driving along this road this way, and I said this is a really good area to try and look up for some black rhino. And this is exactly what this is from. This is from a black rhino feeding off some of the trees. We can tell just from what's happened here that this was a big dominant male black rhino as well. So what he did is he's dropped his dung over here, and as a bit of a scent marking ritual, if you want to call it that, to make all the other rhinos know that this is his spot, he scraped his feet through it like this. So he's scraped his feet through, he's kicked up all the dust, the dung is spread out all over the place here, and then he's carried on walking through his territory and spreading that scent over his feet the whole way as he goes. And those little pieces of sticks that were cut off at 45 degrees is very interesting, and it's very special for black rhino. Just they do it, just the way they chew it, it gets cut off at that 45-degree angle. It's not super fresh. It's probably from maybe yesterday morning early. The dung is already dry, so it's not going to be worth us following the tracks of this black rhino. But it was just because I told you that this is a good area to look for them, and then suddenly there was this pile of dung, so I had to show you. But we're going to carry on along the road, carry on for our cheetah search, and you never know, maybe a black rhino will be around. So the first 45 minutes, as you know, is dedicated to the kids' questions. That 45 minutes is over, and we welcome all the viewers now to send through their questions on hashtag Wild Earth. We would love to hear from you all. And if you've just joined us, we are in search of a cheetah. And we saw quite a young male cheetah this morning. And we are trying to find him again, which is proving to be quite difficult actually. But let's hope we can get lucky like we did this morning. But it's also just... Abdul, you're asking if there were any dung beetles there. It is winter now, which means the dung beetles are not very active. But having said that, as I saw that pile of dung, I saw the whole pile like moving a little bit. And that was from exactly, sorry, actually I'm going to take that road there. That was from a dung beetle right inside there, busy rolling his ball up. And About 10 minutes ago, just before we came on live with you, the dung beetle actually rolled his ball away. So it's unusual for this time of the year, but not unheard of. And there was one there, but there wasn't when I showed you. It's such a perfect winter's afternoon here. Still nice and warm, but not too warm. In summer here it can get very hot. So I welcome these cooler days of winter, that's for sure. So up ahead it opens up really nicely into some big open grasslands, which would probably be the best spot to look for this cheetah. For now we're going to send you back to Rowan. He's apparently found what those vultures are busy doing. So enjoy.
Right, so there I was saying that the vultures nest here, and then another one kept coming, and another one, and another one, and another one. So, you know, it's a very good sign that there's a carcass. And there, in the middle of all that chaos, is an impala carcass. So now there's no other sign of a predator here. So if I had to guess, it could be a Scottish leopard in the area that heard the vehicle of us driving in, maybe in the riverbed, although we are rather far from where we were parked with the elephant. So maybe even a cheetah, or maybe it's a male impala carcass and it got killed by another male impala. It's also very possible. But for now, I mean, how cool is that? And you're going to hear them fighting. And this might actually attract other predators. So we're going to sit here and see, maybe hyenas arrive, maybe a leopard arrives, maybe a lion arrives. You just never know. Because now with all the vultures dropping, other predators, other scavengers could also see this and definitely start making their way into the area. It's quite funny. On the ground, there's only whiteback vultures. But around here, on the trees, you'd see tawny eagles, batelea. We don't really have any wooded vultures or white-headed vultures. A few other, oh, there's one coming in for a fight. Oh, they're just tearing us apart. Odie, focus on that. They literally just fighting away with the carcass. I mean, when we got here, you could definitely see majority of the body of the impala still left. And I kid you not, it's not even been 2 minutes and there's basically nothing left. Very, very quick to clean up. Starting to smell here as well. See the blood on all their heads. Oh, hi, Bacon, saying they are super squawky. I agree. Sounds a bit like a pterodactyl. Emma says, well, I think Emma's really on my sense of humor frequency this afternoon. Sorry, Emma. This is so cool to watch. See how they're fighting about that little piece of meat. But very bloody, very dirty. Of course, after this, they'll need to actually go to a watering hole and go wash themselves. Now some of them have just decided that, okay. See, now you can see the impala, or little bits and pieces of it. Shanson, I agree with you. She's saying the collective noun for vultures should be a feast. Right, so from there, when they, you know, open up like that, you could actually see, yeah, there you can see the horns. So it was a male impala. So it's definitely a possibility that, you know, this male impala was killed by another male impala. That's why there's nothing really feeding on him except a feast of vultures. Good one, Shane. Oh, there we go. Ooh, a good landing. I like the sounds they make. So I'm just keeping quiet for a while. It's actually so nice to listen to all the vultures flying overhead, and then of course them fighting over it. They just literally dive in there. It's awesome. Tarek is asking, is there a hierarchy in regards to feeding depending on the species? Absolutely, Tarek. So what we have here still is white-backed vultures, and they would come second, basically, after lappet-faced. So lappet-faced would be the largest, and then after white-back, you'll get a white-headed vulture. We don't see too many white-headed vultures here, and we also don't see too many lappet-faced vultures here. The majority of the vultures we see here would either be hooded or white-backed, what we're seeing now. Hooded vultures are slight bit smaller, so they'll kind of need to, pick on the smaller pieces that is wasted by white-backed vultures, or just thrown and flung around. So there's definitely a hierarchy when it comes to feeding according to vulture species. Yeah, some of them are very bloody. Very, very, very bloody.
Very good with their landing.
What are you saying? They're not very good with their landing. I think they're just too excited. They're too scared. They're too scared that they might miss something. So they just bounce right in there. You can see once, so they're actually very aware of everything around them, because of course they also need to look out for other predators. If a leopard or hyena or something like that had to come running in here, all the vultures would just scatter. So they keep an eye out on that. So what happens is if one vulture flies out, it spooks the others. So they'll also, that's why you see a lot of them bouncing away from the carcass when one does take off. Sky, very good question. She's asked if vultures are actually able to open up an intact carcass. So Sky, with an impala, they would be able to. With a, majority of these antelope species, they would be able to. If it was something like a hippo or a rhino or a elephant, they'd struggle a lot more because the skin is a lot thicker. But an impala, yes, and they often would open it up, either underneath the legs or just underneath the tail, where it's a lot softer skin. But I mean, you could see these, their bills are actually very sharp and hooked and curved. See, there comes a lion. There's a lion. Wow, that's cool. Hello. Yes, that's cool. Hello, lion. Nice to see you. I'm speechless. Oh, that was insane. Well, I'm glad to say none of the vultures pooed. There's no poo on us. I'm very happy about that.
One of them different.
It actually went through my mind when all the vultures... Oh, she's going to drag it away. See how easy it is for this lioness to pick up that impala and drag it away. That was unbelievable. Like I said, with the vultures dropping, of course, it's going to attract other predators. Moinoi is saying, wow, just wow. And Moinoi, I'm with you. Like I said, I am utterly speechless. That was right on time. Okay, I think I'm going to try reverse out of here and go to the other side Sammy Jane's asking if I could feel the wind from the wings. Sammy Jane, there were so many other things going through my head right at that moment. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, did you, Odie? Sean, could you feel the wings? No, but that was amazing. Okay, we're going to try get over to the other side. For now, you guys are going back to Taylor and a bit of a calmer scene.
Not now. This is much more relaxing than what's just happened, but very exciting stuff. I'm glad we solved the mystery of who killed the impala carcass. Now, we can hear a squirrel alarming behind us. Sorry, I'm turning back, and these giraffe look fine, but one giraffe just let off a bit of a snort. Normally you don't hear giraffe making too much of a sound. I don't know if you're going to see her too well. She's just hiding behind the bushes. That one is now looking behind us and then looking back at the other giraffe. Oh no, now she's feeding, so it couldn't have been too serious. When giraffe do see a predator of sorts, they sort of stare at them and sometimes walk straight towards them, which is not unusual. But it was just a weird coincidence with the squirrels also alarming, but they shout at lots of different things. But I'm just checking, because she still focuses back there every now and then. And they don't make much noise, giraffe, regardless, so it's not like an impala that will just do, a snort, or a wildebeest that will do the strange gnu noise. Look at her, she's very unsettled all of a sudden. So it's also quite suspicious. Hopefully we'll have our own mystery to solve. Let's see where she walks to. I might reverse. I think I'm going to do that, Gert. Let me get a better view for you. What I'm going to do is just go backwards. Ta-da! And then we should be able to see her. It's actually a little open clearing here. Now, wonderful question about wondering why you never heard giraffe really make any sounds. It's because they don't. They've got very underdeveloped vocal cords in their voice box. So they make the odd snorting, grunting sound. But other than that, they're quite quiet. But they recently did a study, a couple of years ago, where they discovered that giraffe were humming in the evenings. Interesting. So again, just another way of communication that we didn't know. And all these things are going to change. We're going to find out the most amazing stuff with the rate at which technology is changing. So it's all developing. Sorry, it's all quite exciting. I think what we will do after this sighting is we'll probably just go back and have a little look around in the direction that she's staring in. Maybe a little leopard has slunk past us into the drainage line. But she doesn't seem to be too phased. She's settled down quite nicely. And there's a few other giraffe, those ones we had in front, that are also going to move into this area. But it's just her, a female, and it looked like two young males that were tailing behind her. Maybe there's also some more giraffe that we just missed on our way through. Or, the other thing, it could also be lions. Those two male lions were seen not too far away from here. So we shall do some searching and see if we can figure this all out. Right, off you go back to Djuma with Trishala.
We do that are just making their way into Djuma. I'm on the western boundary. They look great. There's some really large females. This herd. And most of them have already moved off into Djuma. But here we have a couple little ones. Getting a bit of a trunk lesson. Just gorgeous. Love the sounds of them moving through the bush. Now they're starting to move little bit off, so we're going to just see a lot of Ellie bum for a little bit. But hopefully they'll start moving a little bit in and towards an area where we can get a better view of them. Quite a large herd. I think that they were actually nearby in the pans and Bambi. They're a little bit wet. If we can a little bit, they'll seem relaxed. Now, here's a great Ellie butt to have a look at. Well, there's a few. They're just gorgeous. Now, I love spending time with Ellies, and I'm sure that you guys like spending time with them too. And in fact, one of the best things about what we do is that we can share these experiences with you. And for us to continue to do that, we will need your support. So please do follow the prompts that should be coming up on your screen, so we can continue to bring this to your living room. Oh, I see some stragglers coming out of Simbambili. Then past the cast just in the corner there. Did you hear that? There was a hyena whooping in the background. Good afternoon, youngster. Vehicle could have just go by. I hope they'll be able to go without moving. As this little one is going to move. Hello, love. Oh, we're friendly. I promise. Yeah. Isn't it such an honor when an elephant thinks that you are nice enough and feel comfortable enough to walk past you? Hey, hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey. Say hello to everyone. You're on screen. Oh, that's a lot. Email. Wow, she's quite old. You can see very wrinkly. Hello, Mama. Lovely. Hello, Mama. It's all good. Hi. Hi. See that she has a youngster following her. Wow, coming out of the woodworks. I thought that most of the herd had actually passed us. Hello, greeting. Good afternoon, nice to see you. Everyone's very happy that you're with us. My hair is I'm grabbing my pants or my hands out because it's so exciting to have babies. Especially when they come past like this, it's always nice when you are there before the elephants are, so they can decide whether they want to come to you or not. Oh, coming through, like the younger, very noisy. I feel like I'm in a procession. Just to greet everyone. Some really beautiful big cows in this herd. Hey, hi. Hi. Yes, we are your friends. We're part of you. Part of your herd, I promise. that our youngster almost had a lowered gaze, whereas the others were very curious about us. This one said, no, I hold my head up high and I continued to walk. That, everyone, was the elephant parade I organized for you today. Yes, my encounters with elephants have been really awesome the last couple of days, so I managed to get into one of the meetings and organize this for us. Lovely. Well, this is a very peaceful, very soft kind of sound, but Rowan at and Beyond Zingala has a lion making some noise as well.
So, interesting turn of events. There's the Ross male that stole the carcass now from the white dot female, which of course from the Birmingham pride. So he's just in that bushes there. Actually, probably hear him chewing. Can hear him chewing. A tough spot to drive into, and I think if we drive too close he's just going to start growling at us again. So that was the white dot female that stole the carcass from the vultures, and you can see where all the bushes are moving. It's where the Ross male is. So both of them must have seen the vultures. She beat him to it, probably got 3 or 4 bites from it, and then he stole it, being a male, more aggressive, more powerful, which means probably the rest of the Birmingham pride is somewhere around here as well. You can imagine. Of course, this is not a good spot to quickly jump off and see if you can see tracks of them. This guy is already grumpy. Hoping that he would stand up with the carcass again. I think he's found his spot. I'm going to try and go a little bit forward. 2 centimeters. There's a bit of a ledge. I really do much more than that. Just gonna have to watch grass move as he eats an impala. But still, that was one of those incredible scenes, getting that lioness rushing in towards all the vultures. She actually had one pinned down. Yeah, I'm not too sure what that is that we part of the impala. Well, luckily everyone saw it happening, so everyone knows there's a lion there. I'm not lying about it. My grandpa, all you can see is grass. Well, Mike Rambo, don't know if you were with us 20 minutes ago, but there was definitely a lion that chased off about 20-25 vultures. So this time I'm not lying about it. And if we try and move closer, he's probably going to charge us. Well, we're all about self-preservation and surviving another day. So I don't think I'm going to take that chance. Clever spot to go lie down and eat it, because you can't see him from the other side. There's a very big drainage line or riverbed. I think in a while we might leave him and see if we can figure out where this lioness went, because she might take us back to the Birmingham pride. I just see his nose. Yeah, there we go. Okay, well, we might sit here for a while and see what happens if anything changes. But for now, you guys are back to Taylor.
I'm sure that if you play the patience game, undoubtedly those lions will come out. but I know what it feels like. Our giraffe have been doing the same thing, and they keep hiding behind vegetation. And you'd think that a giraffe reaching the height that it does wouldn't be able to hide away so easily. But look at that giraffe there that's just standing in the shadows. So we often talk about how an animal's coat or its patterns on its body play a huge role in camouflage. And that's, of course, true when it comes to giraffe. And depending on which subspecies of giraffe that you see, the colors and patterns might be slightly different. We're looking at the southern giraffe. And then I've also noticed with the southern giraffe, depending where in, say, South Africa you see them, can also play a huge role in their coloration. So we're quite far north up in South Africa. And if you go to the Eastern Cape, so the southeast coast of South Africa, the giraffe species, which is the same as what we're looking at right now, is much lighter in complexion. And I find that quite interesting. So another thing that they've done over the years, I suppose, with the help of technology, is figured out that it's not always just to do with camouflage. It also can help with have you still got me? Okay, sorry. Thought my audio dropped for a second. It can also help with temperature control, which I think is quite clever. So those darker patches on its body, if you look at a giraffe with thermal imaging, you'll notice that they're just slightly higher in temperature than the sort of lighter parts on its body, which I think is fantastic. And that must help with the dilation of the blood vessels. So oxygen must be able to sort of travel through their bodies. I mean, the cooler sort of air must be able to travel through them a lot easier. They don't have to chuck water on themselves like elephants do to help them keep cool when it gets to those really hot days. Just seeing where they're going. Of course. Let me go further up again. Sorry, the giraffe are not cooperating. We did have a really nice big male giraffe just behind us, and he was almost completely black in coloration. It was quite awesome to see, but sadly he disappeared. Dockland bed, no. So they've recently just reclassified giraffe. There used to be 9 subspecies. Now there are 4 species of giraffe. So, and then the differences between them is really just coloration, some of their patterns on their body. So those geometrical shapes are slightly different. And then, of course, their location, where they occur. So, if you go up into South Luangwa in Zambia, they're very lucky. They've got the Thornycroft giraffe, which you can't find anywhere else. And then we're looking at the southern giraffe. And then you get the northern giraffe and the Maasai and the reticulated. So those are the 4 species that you'll see. The Thornycroft, though, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a subspecies of. Is it the southern giraffe? Might be the southern giraffe. I must just double check that. Sorry, tongue tied there. So off they go. Now they're heading in the direction that female giraffe was sort of staring in. She's still leading the way. There is a little rocky ridge that runs just behind them. See how she's stopped again? And she's just looking. So it wouldn't surprise me also if a leopard appeared. I mean, there are quite a few leopards on the reserve. They're just very sneaky and like to hide away in all the thick vegetation. But we'll catch some more as we go along and start exploring and learning pridelands. It's inevitable. But we will use something like a giraffe to our benefit. We know that they've got phenomenal eyesight. And they're also really tall, so they can see above a lot of the vegetation. So let me go up further again. Let's still just have a look. Who knows what has crossed in front of us? I'll also look. This is such a nice sandy road. So if something has moved on through here, we'll definitely be able to see a track. Let's go there. They're going to keep moving again here. Probably. The giraffe was quite funny how it was dropping its head as it moved below the trees. And they've just stopped to eat. I don't know if we're going to win with these giraffe. I feel like it's a race and I've really got to get up ahead of them. Let me try that and then see if there's a gap. We're coming up to an enormous leadwood tree too, which I've been meaning to show you. It is getting a lot thicker as these giraffe move into this area. They're heading also in the direction of Leopard Dam. Can't see anything that's run across the road. Okay, I'm going to stop just up here and we'll have a look at the leadwood and then we'll also have another look at the giraffe. Look at this magnificent tree. This is huge and must be hundreds of years old. Sorry, I just took my foot off the brake there. I would get out to show you how big it is in comparison to I am, but then I would frighten giraffe and they would run away. So I shan't be doing that. But it's so old. And I love the little twists and turns in the branches. It's also very eerie. There's some spooky things in nature. Lots of little crevices that I'm sure lizards are living in. Maybe the odd bush baby's got a hole in there. And definitely some squirrels living about amongst the trees. It kind of looks like what's that tree called from Harry Potter? The Whomping Willow? It kind of looks like that. There we go. Now you can see how small the giraffe is in comparison. But let's quickly go across to Djuma before Steve's bird flies away.
Thanks, Taylor. We found a very nice bird, one of the big six. Beautiful, beautiful bird. Not many breeding pairs left in the Kruger National Park. Very nice and beautiful saddle-billed stork. And it's a female saddle-billed stork, and you might all think, oh my word, how do you know that is a female? And if BK can go in a little bit more, I wonder if you can, BK. There we go. You see the yellow eye, everybody? The male has got a dark eye and a little wattle that hangs there just below the chin. That is what the male has. The female has got a yellow eye without the little wattle. And you can see why it's called a saddle bill. Ooh. Hello. Wow. I've never seen one do that before. I don't know if that was a yawn or an aggressive posture. I'm sure if I spoke saddle-billed stork, I'd know exactly what that means. Can we come back to the stork? Can we go to these lilac-breasted rollers on the right here? Sorry, top of the tree. They're behaving badly. Right at the top of the tree, there's 3 lilac-breasted rollers. I'm going to keep quiet to see if we can hear them calling. They're very territorial, and they look to see there's 2 on the left, 1 on the right. I don't know if maybe one's a chick from last season. Okay, watch the one flying off now. Biggs, can you get him? The one's flying off. He's doing chip. Oh, there's the roller response. That's why they call them rollers. They do this dive bomb display. Like a very good Spitfire to pilot. They fly up around a corner, they do this very loud shouting noise, and then they dive bomb each other in a very rolling type fashion. That's where, funny enough, everyone, that's where they get their name from. Very hard to keep your camera on, though. Has he gone? But wonderful saddle building is not being so loud, and what a word, abrasive to the ear. Oh, how did we miss that, BK? Look over the shoulder of the stork down by the water. I heard a buffalo. Quite incredible. At least I'll find it for you as soon as my app decides to load. But it's a meter, just over a meter, I'd say. They're very tall. They're very, very tall. So now we came down here in anticipation. We're in Chitwa, by the way, everybody. We came down in anticipation to find something wonderful. We saw the stork contrasting with the background, and then we heard the lilac-breasted find something wonderful. We saw the stork contrasting with the background, And then we heard the lilac-breasted rollers, and now that we are sitting, I saw the buffaloes over the side there. And it seems like my app is deciding that today is a good day not to work. So Lisa, as soon as I've checked the exact height of the stalk, I will let you know. But I think we're going to go say hello to our buffaloes. Get them to surround us. How's that sound, Beaks? I like being surrounded by buffalo. Always going through to my grandfather's farm in Pietermaritzburg and going and milking the cows every morning was my favorite thing to do. I was always going to be some form of outdoor farmer type person. And, well, here I am. You would never catch me milking a buffalo, though. Not because I don't want to, just because I don't think I'd ever be able to get close enough without them smashing me. Buffalo cheese, buffalo mozzarella, is that where it comes from? Forgive me, I'm being absolutely ridiculous, but that's okay. Okay, I'm just going to come up to this point right over here, and I'm going to stop. Ooh, Emma, your comms broke up there. We are just in that one little dip that radio comms really struggles with, and Emma said saddlebull stalkers, that's all I heard. So do apologize that my technology is not working today. 120 centimeters, thank you so much. So that's 1.2 meters. So my guess was pretty close, but they're tall. They're very, very big animals. Let's just have a little look and listen. Can't really hear the buffalo now, but look at the little brown one in the middle there. Little calf just on the right. This is the typical posturing the buffalo do when they sense danger of some sort or try to figure out what's going on. Now, right where we are, everybody, a herd of buffalo is doing just this almost 2 years ago, and I was very fortunate to be in amongst them, and one of them gave birth. And then we filmed it live. Pretty much exactly the same spot. And it was very, very cool. We watched the whole thing. It was like a 15, maybe 17-minute affair. The buffalo came out, was obviously birthed, the whole herd hung around, and then within 7-8 minutes, the calf was up and wobbling around. I found that incredible. For a herd moving animals, that is the strategy. They need to be able to get up and move with the herd. Herd's constantly in search of better food, water, and they can't just hang around. And so that sort of genetic trait has been passed on. Any weak individuals who aren't able to keep up with herd, unfortunately, get whittled out. Say hello to this little fellow here, Beaks. Let's not say, oh, it is so little. There's a mama and a baby. Come right up to the water's edge here with us. There's the youngster. You should see mum shortly. Whoopsie, there it goes. Now they're going to hold their breath for the longest they possibly can, and so we're not going to be able to see them again. They're gone. Should we go back to... We'll stay there. Okay, well, I'm not getting the best comms in the world. I'm sending you back over to somebody, so we'll catch up with you shortly.
Hello everyone, welcome back to and Beyond Pinda Private Game Reserve. And look what we have here. A lioness lying on our airstrip. So this is literally, when we have guests, this is where the airplanes land. And this lioness believes that this is a perfect spot for her to lie this evening. It's absorbed all that heat today, and she's lying there nicely to warm up. I'm sure that's exactly what's going on. Now she's looking straight down the road, down the airstrip. I know right at the end of the airstrip there was some zebra, but sure, that's far. I don't think, no, she won't be able to see them from here. But this is a really, really perfect area for this lioness to be, because also at night there's loads of animals like impala, zebra, wildebeest that all come up to this airstrip because it's a nice open area. They come up here at night so that they can rest, feeling relatively safe that they're able to see all around them and make sure that there's nothing trying to stalk up to them. You can see there's not a lot of cover here for a lion to try and sneak up on anything up here. What an absolutely regal pose though, isn't it? She's just sitting there. I agree. So she's literally just sitting here waiting for people to return, waiting for that airplane in the sky to come to turn around the corner. So she came walking out of this bush here on our left hand side apparently and up onto the airstrip. So I'm guessing now this lioness is part of a pride called the Mountain Pride. And I'm guessing that the rest of the pride is still in these bushes off on our left-hand side. So if we be a bit patient this evening, I think the rest of them should come out as well. But this is incredible. It's that warm evening light on her. That warm evening light, and she's just looking straight into it. We seem to have found so many animals today warming up in the sun. I know the meerkats were doing it this morning. We had that cheetah doing it this morning who was just sitting on a termite mound enjoying the sun. And now this lioness as well. I guess that's what winter does to you. Pick a Brick, I really like your comment saying that it's stunning colours, and that is, I 100% agree. This time of the evening, the soft evening light that comes out is always my favourite, and for any photographer as well, it's beautiful soft light on the animals that you're trying to photograph. So it's really, really nice. We're going to spend a bit of time here waiting with this lioness and see if the rest of the pride come out of the bushes and come and join her. For now, we're going to send you over to Dylan at Tswalu, who's just leaving the lodge and getting ready for his afternoon out.
Good afternoon everyone from Tswalu Kalahari. Those of you who don't know, my name's Dylan and Master Genre on camera there. We really missed you the past hour and a half. We had some glitches on our side with this crazy wind that's come up here. but all sorted so far. So Jeandre and I are back at the burrow that the 2 honey badgers went down earlier this morning. So we're just staking it out. We don't have too much time left, unfortunately, but we're going to spend it here, and hopefully we'll be able to show you some honey badgers. The burrow system is just across there to our right-hand side. We're about 100 yards from it, and we're keeping completely downwind now. So they shouldn't be able to hear us, they shouldn't be able to smell us. I'm also talking quite softly. Yeah, so hopefully if we're just patient here, it's going to pay off. In the meantime, I also have something fun to show you. And any guesses? This is our quiz for the day. Who is this? Who does this skull belong to? I'm not going to give any clues just yet. If someone needs a clue, then we'll give a clue. In the meantime, while you're pondering who this is, head over to Rowan with the lion cubs.
Right, so we found the Birmingham Pride. Here is the lioness. She's got the 2 cubs with her. The cubs are somewhere in the grass. Yeah, so well, it's turned out to be an incredible afternoon once again. The other lioness, she's walked to our left. She was contact calling. I believe that, yeah, okay, here's another lion coming over to our right. So it was the white dot lioness that ran in, stole the carcass, and then got chased off by a Rossmale. So now, I think the majority of the Birmingham Pride will come from our right-hand side. Where are your babies? So this is the mom of the 2 youngsters. You can actually see her tummy there, still lactating. I think the cub, yeah, there's one cub. Trying to run around us, keeping up with mom. The grass is so long, so they're struggling to see. You can actually hear them squeaking. That's phenomenal. So it's worked out perfectly fine. So we're going to keep quiet because you can hear the little babies contact calling. And then she contact calls back. So the babies are behind us somewhere in the long grass. Oh, it's right behind us now. Sorry, Adi, I'm not going to move now. Let them walk past. Let me swing to the left. So just trying to maneuver so we can show you the get-together. But how exciting. Really, what an extraordinary afternoon. And it worked out so perfectly because we set out to find this lioness and the cubs, thinking we'd find her denning somewhere in the river. And now we just find her following another lioness. We're going to drive right behind her. So I think her 2 cubbies are following her there. So we're going to drive just a little bit off to her side. And what I think is we'll have the whole of the Birmingham Pride rather soon because she's following one of the older lionesses. Odie, I'm going to stop here for you. See where she goes. You can just see the grass moving. Here comes one of the cubbies. The grass is so long. And then here comes the other cub. Absolutely amazing. What a day. What a fantastic day. And I'm trying to follow the mom. And they are so cute. So cute. Like stocky, fluffy little things that really can't see above the grass just yet. And I'm hoping that they are now just going to lead us straight to the rest of the Birmingham Pride. She can't really walk, the rest of the Pride can. Oh, I guess there are just lions literally everywhere. So we're going to send you over to Taylor now. He's got a lion in the grass, while we get to relax with these little youngsters for some time. The one on the path.
Situation to what you heard earlier, Rowan. our lions are also hiding away in the bushes, but that's what they did to us this morning, and I'm pretty sure I walked straight past them. But anyways, they didn't even let off a growl or anything. So this is one of the male lions, and we saw them the other morning. Perhaps you remember the two young boys that I think are probably about 4 years old, maybe going into their 5th year, but fairly young. And this is the nervous boy, the one with the smooth ears. I'm just listening. I thought I could hear the other one rolling around, but I can't. But that's just normal, you know. He'll take some time to settle down, but we know the reason why they are so nervous. They definitely are used to cars and have been vehicles have been in sightings with them quite often. But when you get chased out by big male lions, you can imagine how that must sort of really shake them to the core. And it will take them a little while to settle down. So they're just keeping well away from everybody, keeping a really low profile, because if the big male lions, there's 2 of them, that have taken over the pride that these boys belong to, if they realize that they're still in their territory, they're going to be in big trouble. So I don't think that they've quite accepted the fact that they are not allowed to be with their natal pride anymore, and that they have to go, out and venture away from home. This does take some time to sort of kick in before they'll really move on out. They're not quite ready to leave home just yet. So we definitely need to enjoy them while we can, because I don't know how long they're going to be here for. This is the time of their life where they're going to be nomadic. So just while these lions are hiding away, we're obviously still trying to work the dynamics out. So as I said, the lionesses that we saw the other morning, at least one of them would have been the mother of these 2 male lions that we have seen. So it's quite a big pride. At one point they were seeing between 11 and 13 lions together, most of them being lionesses, and then of course the rest making up some sub-adults, and there were 2 big male lions that have come in from Kalahari. And last year there was an incredible sighting. Perhaps some of you even read about it on Africa Geographic, but basically what happened last year is obviously they must have been hearing thundering roars throughout the evening, but the students went out onto Kwenga, which is another property that we can traverse on, and they came across these 2 beautiful big male lions, and I believe they've come out of Kalahari, which is an open ecosystem just sort of north of us. And what happened was they saw a lioness just laying on the floor, and they didn't quite understand what happened. It turns out the males, 2 big new males that have come in, killed this lioness and then ate her. They also chased these 2 males out of the pride in that time frame, and I think have been constantly trying to chase these boys out ever since. And that happened sort of late 2019. I think it was around October or so not too long ago. But quite interesting, because obviously lions don't normally cannibalize other lions, but we've seen it with leopards on Wild Earth. And there was photographic evidence to it, and they ate quite a bit of her, which is very gruesome. So it'll be interesting to see if we do get to see the whole pride together with the 2 new reigning males. From the photos that I saw of them, they're gorgeous. They've got beautiful, thick, big manes, unlike these young boys. And they very much come into themselves. So I think they're still establishing themselves within the area. Oh, Linda Polly, my old friend, yes. Eek. Yeah, it sort of makes my skin crawl when I hear things like that. But of course, it's all part of nature, and these things do happen. Now, I mean, it is unusual for male lions to want to kill females, because they would ideally want to mate with her, and let her carry their genes, into the wildlife. But that doesn't always happen. If they put up a bit too much of a fight, they will just turn around and say, right, well, if you don't want to mate with us, or if you're not happy with us, we don't need you around anymore. And that's just what it is like. Hopefully, that's something that won't happen again. Not too soon. But boys, you better be safe. You better stay clear, because if you've been told not once but twice to leave your pride, I don't think the 3rd time is going to be too kind. And I think that's why the other male, not this one, the one that's fast asleep, is limping. Now something that I haven't seen for quite some time is some little hippos, and it seems as though Steve is having a wonderful time splashing about with them.
timing. We've been sitting here, this little group of hippos, hoping that was going to happen, and just in time. There was Mama Hippo, and there's little Baba Hippo. And the reason we moved on over here, and the buffalo herd moved off, and some of these hippos were giving each other a bit of a hard time. And the Egyptian geese are making a very loud noise, as you can hear. But Mama Hippo gets a bit upset with other hippos if they get too close to her baby, and sometimes she can be quite aggressive. Sometimes male hippos have been known, and Tristan was here at Chitwa Dam last year, I think it was, when a male hippo actually killed a baby hippo. It was really something quite hard to watch. Very, very hard to watch for many of the viewers. But nature is a very cruel beast, everybody. It probably wasn't his offspring, and she was a female that moved into his territory, and if she wants his protection, she needs to mate with him. It's a very, very sad state of affairs, but this is Chitwa, as I mentioned. It's looking absolutely wonderful at the moment. Odell, baby is adorable, isn't it? Can't agree with you more. A little pod of hippos. There are so many noises. I'm going to keep quiet for a moment and see if you can embrace all the aquatic sounds going on down here. If you have the time, everybody, inclination, please go to the link below. Help to support us to bring you wild images from the African wilderness. Support is greatly appreciated. Getting the hairy eyeball from this one, BK. Hippos are regarded as the most dangerous animal in Africa. And you might ask, why is that? So the questions have come up before. They do kill more people in Africa than any other mammal. That is because of their habitat. They're water-loving animals, they're water-dependent animals. And much of Africa is still very, very, very reliant on water sources like dams, rivers, lakes for access to water, washing clothes, fishing. And wonderful game paths head to and from these water holes that are created by hippos and elephants. And the people go down to these water sources to get water, to swim, to fish, to survive, really. And they encounter hippos. Also, fishermen in boats encounter hippos. And it's for that reason that hippos are renowned for those sort of interactions. In water like that, the hippos are unlikely to cause you any harm if you're out on the bank like we are now. But it's when the water sources also get a lot lower and hippos can't fully submerge that they feel, oh, look at the little baby on the right, BK's on mummy's back. On the right, oh, he was on his back. And when hippos can't fully submerge, they get a little bit sort of uncomfortable and on their comfort zone. But when the water's full and rivers or lakes are full, hippos are no real danger unless you go paddling towards them in a canoe. They're very territorial and they might take offense to you moving into their spot. And they're very big, powerful animals with enormous teeth that are not designed for anything other than fighting and defense. Good. Well, every now and again, hippos are attacked by lions. It's not an often occurrence. But Clive has got some lions, so let's go back over to him.
Well, they definitely are more peaceful. This lioness is very relaxed on the airstrip here. But before the sun goes down, I just want to show you this beautiful sunset off to the west here. Have a look in the distance there. Always got to end the day with a good sunset. So we have to show you before it goes down. Just this last little bit of light coming through. And it's such a peaceful setting up here. So we've been sitting here again now for 20 odd minutes, 25 minutes. And the rest of the pride hasn't seemed to have come out of the bushes. So I don't know exactly where they are. But I'm guessing they're probably still all sleeping in the bushes a bit behind us now. Oh, but as we say, goodbye to the African. Another sunset on this beautiful African safari. See, now she's looking into the bushes where she came from, where I think the rest of the pride is, but I haven't seen them pop out yet. But we're gonna. So, like the cheetah we saw this morning, it doesn't seem like this lioness has eaten too much recently. Her belly looks relatively empty. So we're going to probably spend a bit of time with them. You know, it's coming up to the time now that the sun has gone down, coming up to the time for these lions to possibly start moving around. And if they do have any opportunity to hunt, there's every chance they will take it. I'm glad you all think that this is such a gorgeous view, and it really is, especially to have her on our airstrip. It's not somewhere you would normally expect a lion to be lying. So luckily there are no planes coming in today. Alright, so from one lion sleeping, we're going to send you across to Taylor to another lion that's still sleeping. Hopefully they're both going to start getting more active soon.
Ha 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 ha. Very funny. I think that's every safari guide's favorite joke. It is quite hilarious, especially when they are doing exactly that. We've got an even more disappointing view. Come on, lions, come out for a drink. They're only a few meters away from Leopard Dam. So I'm really, really hoping that if they do get up and walk, that we'll actually be able to go and park on a really nice high point. But we know that they've already had a drink this morning. So lions don't have to drink water all the time. They get a lot of the moisture that they need from, I suppose, feeding on antelope and all sorts of other wonderful things. But look at those eyes still piercing straight through the thicket there, even though you can't really see them. The other male is here. He's also just laying as flat as this lion is now, and he's very reluctant to move regardless. I would like to get him out in the open, and I would like to have a look at the extent of his injuries, because it seems like it's on his back legs, which suggests that he was at least running away from the big dominant males. But we shall see what happens. I was going to try and get a better view, but I don't think that it's going to be possible. I'm not going to off-road in this situation. I'm going to just sit exactly where we are. But he has settled down now, which makes me very happy. You can see that he's lowered his head. He's still keeping an eye on everything around him. And literally every sound that these lions hear, you'll see them, they pop their heads up just to make sure that it isn't those big males wanting to come through again. And for those of you that have ever seen a fight between male lions and particularly fully grown male lions, you'll know that it is, goodness, it's not a nice thing to witness. So you can see that, yeah, he's just listening. You might be able to hear another vehicle coming around. Emily, now you're only 7 years old and you're wondering why lions fight. I know it sounds like very unnecessary, hey? Why do animals need to fight? They only fight when they have to, because if they become injured in a fight, it means that they could potentially die, or, they wouldn't be able to catch their food, and this is no good, and they don't want that. So the only reason why, most common reason why male lions will fight is when they are trying to take over a territory, so a place where there are some lady lions that are living around, and they want to come over and incorporate them into their pride. So then they will fight the other males that are there, or if there are any young males like these two, they could be a threat to those bigger boys, so they'll chase them out. So that's it. And then they'll also, maybe fight other animals. They'll fight off hyenas, big clans of hyenas that come through if they try and cause any trouble and to steal their food. But if there are any opposing lions that don't belong in that pride, those male lions also try and protect their family. But normally they'll use their roars to tell everybody that they are living there and that this place is taken. But what we see in the Sabi Sand and also up in East Africa and other areas is that the coalitions, so the groups of male lions, get quite big. And the more male lions you have in your group, the better chance and the longer you'll be able to keep that family for, that pride for. Because if there's only one or two of you, then, you could even get younger males, but that have more in their coalition coming through and trying to overthrow you. He's sitting up. He's just looking around again. And you could see all those scars on his faces. That's definitely from maybe fighting. Some of it could also be from scrapping at a carcass. So when they're eating, that's also quite common. Wonderful. Okay, I think we'll probably move on from these lions now, and then we'll see if someone else can give us a call if they come down to drink, or if we go back to Tswalu, where Dylan is still playing the patience game.
Any guesses? This is actually a clue. That's the best clue you're going to get. We're still staking out this burrow. We are super downwind. Ooh, Nadia, who's 11, has just said a scrub hair skull. Very, very good. Very close, but not correct. But you had it very, very, very close. Scrub hair skulls are a little bit smaller, about half that size. Ooh, Peter and Nadia, you guys are both super close. It's not a mole rat, it's not a spring hare, but you're on the right track. You're on exactly the right track. Sorry, is that Emma? Who said that? Uma. Puma. Puma is right. This is exactly right. It's a porcupine skull. The others are very, very close, being a rodent. So this is the largest rodent that we have in Africa. And these huge incisor teeth that grow throughout the porcupine's life, or throughout a rodent's life. These teeth will keep on growing. You've got these lovely molars over here for crushing up whatever they get. And the clue that I gave it was a little bit late, was any kind of fruit porcupines will love eating. They'll absolutely relish something like Mel Gibson. They would eat this thing up in a heartbeat. So very well done on that. Very good. I don't know, John, can you see those gnaw marks on the top over there? I don't know if it's really visible. There we go. You can actually see those gnaw marks. Look at that. So what's happened is some other rodent, probably judging by the size of these, some very small rodent, has actually found the skull, and has actually started to gnaw it as well for calcium and to keep those teeth nice and short. So that's just a little bit of interesting ecology there. So while we ponder on the intricacies of rodents and skulls, I head over to Rowan and see what he has on that side.
So we've followed 3 lionesses and the 2 cubs back to here. You can see in the background there, 1 cub or older youngster coming, and then behind that one is the Birmingham young male, so he's still alive and well, also coming in this direction. So we found the Birmingham pride, and strangely enough, right in the middle of the property. Here comes the one lioness. She's coming from the right, the one with the cubs. And shame, I think these cubs are so tired. They're just moaning to try to keep up. It is just behind that dead tree there. But, I mean, what a beautiful setting. And now, it's like the last light of the sun just, you know, lighting up the grass in front of these lions. It's really just such a beautiful setting. So that's the mom, and the 2 cubs are actually just a little bit in front of her, and one is behind her, I think. They had, well, not really a go, but they tried to sneak up to some impala. To no luck, the impala saw them before they actually even got close. So it's been, you can see one of the cubs going back to the mom there. It's underneath her now. So it's quite tough because so 2 of the lionesses tried to hunt, and then this lioness had the 2 cubs trying to follow her. So, you know, every single time they lose sight of her, you just hear this contact call. You can see the one white lion now coming from the front. That's actually beautiful. That light on one of those youngsters. Oh wow, here we go. They're just going to light up. Monique from London is very happy to see these lions. Monique, I absolutely agree. You know, it's been a long time since we've seen the pride, so 100% it was about time. And everyone's favourite lion is right there in the back where the white lions just came from. He's still lying down, but his head is up. So maybe in a little while he'll start bouncing in this direction. So he's looking here. I still hear the cub every now and then. It's calling. What a spectacular day. I mean, this afternoon has just been mind-blowing. Sina is hoping they go hunting soon. Sina, I agree. It would be very, very cool. See one of the white lions coming out. Looks like the older male coming from the back there. All of them looking to the left now. There's a zebra calling from that side. It'd be a good meal for this pride. Oh, the light on them is just phenomenal. Everyone facing in all different directions. The lioness with the cubs still standing up. I think she's almost thinking about how to approach her pride with her cubs following. Okay, now she's coming closer. You can see some of the youngsters actually starting to look towards her. So she might have been away from the pride for quite some time. And so now all the youngsters need to get used to the new cubs again. No sign of the Ross now. I think he's probably still finishing off that impala carcass. Bit of a bully. Comes one of the older lionesses. She's going to walk straight past us on the right hand side. There she goes. See, she's huge. So she's just over 13, 14 years old now. Very, very big lioness. Emma's saying that we are having quite the afternoon. Indeed we are. Definitely worth it. And I don't know why we changed our route. We were planning on going south, and then we thought, no, we'll just quickly check the riverbed. And then we found the elephant, and by finding the elephant we found the vultures, and by finding the vultures we found the white-dot female. And literally just everything came together. It was beautiful sunlight on the white line there in the back now. All of them coming towards us. The female with the cubs is still standing still. She's looking behind her to where they had the carcass. Something quite special, eh? So special. Shatika saying that's a walking boss lady. Shatika, I agree. These two sisters, stick a mane on these two and they'll definitely be territorial. 100%. They are definitely big enough to take over any territory. Actually, we've seen them fight with the Ross males before, and these two lionesses, they don't take any trouble from the Ross males. Very big lioness. Oh, but the light on them now is so special. Definitely golden hour. The only thing you can hear from these lions every now and then is, oh, here comes the mother with the cub. She's coming a little bit closer towards us. Let's see where she goes. It's literally the cubs. It's the only sound you can hear from the entire pride. I think they must be so tired of walking. I was watching both of them a little bit earlier. Mouths open. Of course, for every stride that mom takes, they need to take about 6. So with those short, stumpy legs, it's quite tough to keep up. I hope she comes closer to us. Just see the tiny little ears of the cub to her right. Oh, it's going to lie down now. Come on, mummy. Oh, she might feed them. Oh yeah, they're trying to drink. Don't know if you saw her face there, but she was growling. Let's go a little bit forward. Still far from all the lions here. Now, all of them are looking, can see her face. So they are trying to drink, which is why she's going to get up and move. It's a little bit painful for her. She doesn't want them to drink milk now. Oh, there's a nice bit of opening here right in front of us. You're going to have a very good view of the lions. I'm trying to get my head out the way there. Oh, I think she might have stepped on a thorn. There we go. See what I mean? So tiny. Oh yeah, she's trying to pull the thorn out now with her mouth. The cub just wants to cuddle. He's growling, look. It's the naughty lioness. Here comes the male. Yeah. Listen to mom. He just walked into a tooth and it made him lie down. Obviously, like, I would also lie down if I had to walk into a tooth. So, understandable. That's what a day. She's such a gorgeous lioness. Very pretty. MJ is saying this is so cool. MJ, I am speechless. This entire afternoon has been so memorable for me. Yeah, I agree, MJ. This is awesome. Little cubby. So that's the little lioness. She's definitely the naughty one. And you can see that the young male is just right next to his mom, cuddling up with her. But in my mind, the little lioness is the feisty and the naughtier one. A bit more adventurous. Oh, you can see the white line coming out as well. So Charlotte, who's sitting in final control, wants to know, is there evolutionary reason for cuteness? Charlotte, very good question. Google it. I've always wanted to say it, so of course I'll never say that to any guest, but Charlotte, because you are sitting in final control, there you go. The Birmingham young male just lifted his head, so I was thinking he might be on his way here. Looks like not. Why is every lion lying down behind a bush for us? Luckily we find them though, I say. Oh, but these cubs are just so cute. And I must say they've done phenomenally well. Just so perfect. See how curious she is about everything. I mean, all this to them is new territory. I think they're quite happy that the mom stopped walking now. Ah, okay. So, we're going to send you to Clive. He's got a lion on the hunt. We're just going to spend a couple more minutes here. Right, welcome back everyone. So, I think Marcel's zoomed right in on a lion, a young lion that's lying flat in that grass, and in the background you can see a wildebeest, and that wildebeest is walking straight down the road towards that lion. So this could be quite interesting. But this wildebeest definitely thinks something is up. I think it can actually see. I think it can see this lioness that's lying close to us here. I don't think it spotted the young one that's lying flat in the grass. This is so funny. Okay, it's taking a few more steps away. But I think, yeah, this. Oh my word! And there's another lioness that's just got up and looking very intently in the opposite direction. And there's a big herd of wildebeest coming up the airstrip from the other side. So this is quite chaotic right now, everyone. Remember what I was saying earlier about this being such a great spot for these lions to sit tonight, because there's just going to be so many animals. So many animals coming up here to rest for the night. So she's found a spot in some long grass just behind the vehicle here. Which way? Let me just try and see which way these wildebeest are walking.
They're walking towards us.
Oh my word, they are too. They're walking straight towards us.
They're almost synchronous.
Yeah, I think this young one, yeah, I think this wildebeest might have spotted something, because it's not coming any closer. But none of them have started alarm calling yet. As soon as one of them starts alarm calling, then it's going to warn all the other wildebeest and all the other animals around here that there's something not right. So that young one that's lying flat down in the grass there is a sub-adult. So it's not a cub, it's not an adult. It's in the region of about 1.5 years old. So she's not very good at hunting yet, but this is really, really good practice for her. It's amazing practice for her to learn how to stalk closely. And even though she might jump out and run too early, or, you know, do it when the wildebeest is too far, it's all part of learning for her. There's a big herd of wildebeest coming out right on the far side of the airstrip as well. It's going to be far, even with the camera to zoom.
MGN, this is awesome sauce. I love that. Yes, it is. This is really spectacular to watch. Oh, the wildebeest is walking again. No, he's really aware. He definitely knows something is on the go here. And even the big herd behind us have stopped, and they're also looking around. So with these lions lying right in the open, it's quite easy for other animals to see them. Even though the light is starting to go a bit, their silhouettes will be quite easily seen against the backdrop. So I think they're lying a bit too much in the open. But on either side of the airstrip there's quite thick bush, and there's a very good chance they'll use that tonight, maybe to try and get a bit closer to some of these animals up here on the airstrip. This is so beautiful. The clouds, the sunset. Oh yeah, no, that one wildebeest is definitely knows something's going on. Yeah, he's even alarm calling now. Hey, you're saying that sky is something else? It really is the color on those clouds. Yeah, even Marcel's saying it's a beautiful salmon pink. It's really a pretty color. See, that young lion is moving around now. It's swishing its tail. It's trying to bite flies. So while we sit and enjoy this beautiful sunset and see what else happens with what these lions and wildebeest are going to do, we're going to send you back to the lions with Ngala. At Ngala, should I say.
Has gotten up, and I actually want to see how bad his limp is. But he's walking slowly. He just stopped for a quick toilet break, and then he's making his way quite slowly. Oh, no, never mind. So inch by inch. That's actually a cool shot. You've got the little white lioness with another lioness behind her, and then the young male, all lined up together like that. Very, very, very cool. It looks like all of them are settling down now. And then, of course, lined up with this one way in the foreground. This lioness there is getting very irritated with flies. She was rolling around a little bit earlier, smacking at the air, trying to catch this fly. Yeah, I think she's still being bothered by a fly. It'd be wonderful if she does it again. Both cubbies are now stretching out, and they look like they might just be getting ready for bed. Of course, the one right in the safety of, well, in the middle of the mother's paws. I mean, could you think of a safer spot? And the little lion is still quite active. There he goes, underneath the chin. We grew mom's beard for a while. Don't know if you can hear that soft groaning. Very gentle mother, if she wants to be. Megan agrees that it's the safest place in the world. Just before I started talking, you could actually hear elephant trumpeting about something. Maybe the Rosmel is walking past the elephant. Spooked the elephant a little while. Look how small that head is compared to the teeth. Okay, well, looks like Trish has a herd of elephant heading straight towards a car, so we're going to send you back over that way.
Yes, they are. They have descended upon us. I think it's actually the same herd that we had on Triple M a little bit earlier, but now we're on quarantine. Hello? Do you remember me? It's wonderful to be surrounded by Ellies. Therapy. To watch them and feeling. Oh, he has a visitor. Going after that sandpaper razor. And just love it. Hello. Do you remember me? Isn't it just? There's nothing like Africa in the setting sun, surrounded by elephants. Oh, sometimes your trunk needs a rest. Saw this one at the mound eating, and then this other little one came to grab some, and the other one just flicked its trunk at it, saying, "No, my bush." Oh, that's a big girl. Oh, there's some irritation going on between them. Flicked her trunk. This one that's behind us now. What happens are young males in the herd that are eventually going to be on their own. And you'll find that the large females will start to push them out with behaviors like that initially. And then they'll start to linger behind the herd, but still following. And then eventually they'll feel mature and comfortable enough to truly be on their own. But then they'll usually find the company of other males, and they create little bachelor herds. Grumpy old man, you say it's a friendly frenzy? It really is. Being around elephants just make me feel great. Oh, a little tussle going on. Literally a little one. Oh, many youngsters playing. Speaking of this, very famous. Let's go and see.
And I must reassure you that this is in fact a spotted hyena, because this young cub resembles a bat-eared fox for some bizarre reason, with its black snout and its ears pushed down to the side. I'm sure you can all agree with me. Maybe if you squint your eyes a little bit. But yes, we are at the Pridelands Clan main hyena den. Well, we assume that this is the main den because we've seen so many cubs hanging around here. But this is some of the older cubs. We counted, 3 earlier? And the others have just disappeared. You can't really see them. They're hiding away so well, just at the back. And I'm hoping that if we sit here for long enough, some others will come on out. But unfortunately, there aren't any adults present. So once the light starts to fade too much, we will have to head on off. But I think I might come here first thing in the morning tomorrow and see what's happening when it's still a little bit, just before the sun has risen, and then see if we get some action. Ears pricked as some wax bills. There was a little bird party. Looked like there was some quail ears and a bunch of things flew over. Adele, not just a bat, but a bat-eared fox, which is a type of mammal. And I'm pretty sure that at Tswalu you would be able to see them. They like the sort of drier regions. They're very, very sweet. They look similar though, in the sense, just pretty much like what we're looking at. Normally hyenas have got their ears pricked up, but because it's got them flopped to the sides, it's quite comical. Oh, do you know what? Hat just next to the dead, all that sort of tree. Listen to my great description of where Hat should go, but just a little bit further left, I think that little hyena that we got a glimpse of the other day. There we go. Is that the really small one that I think is maybe between 3 and 4 months old, somewhere around there? It looks like it. Doesn't look as big as the others. Can you please come out into the open so that we can see you nicely? I'm hoping that the more and more I say that, the hyenas will learn to respond. They won't, of course. Yes, that is the littlest hyena that we've seen at the den. Very sweet. Got all its spots, though. A little bit darker on the rump. But definitely not a black little bear cub as they look for the first few weeks of their life. So it's nice to see a den with varying ages of hyena cubs, but I would like to figure out who the mothers are, but they don't seem to show up at the same time. But that's normal. You won't always see all the mothers here because of their hierarchy that they have. See, that's what we're dealing with at the moment. Look at all the trees intertwined with one another, making it quite difficult. Yes, there we go. Come and join your sibling. Sit up closely. Now you can see the size difference there. That's very sweet, isn't it? You look like your ears haven't grown just yet. Very curious, though. They're not quite wanderers just yet, these two. They don't really show too much interest in the cars. Maybe that's because they haven't had much interaction when they were really young, and they're inquisitive. You know, they look at us, they listen to the sound of my voice and everybody else that comes on through here. But they're not mischievous like hyena cubs can be, and they haven't once tried to chew my tires or mud flaps or brake pipes. That's always the worst, trying to say no to a little hyena cub. No, you cannot bite that. They're naughty. And also the adults have kept out of camp for the last few days. Yes, JT, they are very sweet with their precious faces. Come on, you lot. Have you been playing around the whole afternoon and that's why you're so exhausted? I think that little one should go and bite on someone's ear and wake them up. Or was it because there's no warthog skull to chew on, like there was the other day? Something caught their attention, probably a little francolin or spurfowl moving around. There's also, I can hear a hornbill. That's probably at the top of the tree making noise. Maybe it was that. Now, we didn't get to show you a sunset this evening, but it seems as though Tswalu is picking up the pieces.
Wow. Taylor and Trishala, them have been having some amazing viewing down there. But we can't complain about our skies. How beautiful is that, eh? So we're still waiting patiently for these badgers to emerge. We've confirmed there are definitely no tracks coming out. I mean, we looked from a nice distance, comfortable distance away. We didn't go closer using binoculars only. But this breeze is picking up quite a bit, so the temperature's dropping. So I don't know what size the youngster will be, but they could stay down that burrow quite a while. But I'd certainly rather give it a bash than just give up and kind of move on. You know, these are the joys of going on safari. You know, you never know what you're going to come across, and a lot of it really is just patience, and that's often where you see your best things. So I'm betting we're going to have a badger popping out there before we close. Jean-Andre's betting it's going to come out just after we close. so So we'll see what happens. We have skeptics amongst us. I'm an optimist. I'll be right at some point. I mean, that's what I go by. One day I'll be right. And also, you never know what else rocks up. You know, there we went to the meerkats this morning looking for meerkats, and there's 5 cheetah, you know. And that's correct. The honey badgers have been inside all day. That's typically what they do. But again, depending on how hungry they are, you know, if they didn't get very good foraging last night, there's a very good chance they'll pop out early. Honey badgers can be active during the day or at night. They're not necessarily nocturnal. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that with this cooler weather, they're burning more energy. They'll come out and they'll start foraging a little bit earlier than normal. Well, speaking of burning energy, apparently Rowan has some lion cubs that seem quite exhausted. So head over that side and we're going to stick it out here.
Yeah, they are quite tired. Although not too tired to fight with each other, so every now and then you can see the one pushing the other one away from a teat, and the other one pushes back, and so this causes them to fight every now and then. It could be quite loud for something so small. Can't hear them fighting now. It looks like they've both settled, each with a teat. So Dylan, Genre, I've asked Sean and OD what we think about your honey badger situation. Sean and myself, we're putting money that they most probably will only pop up after game drive, as Murphy's Law goes. OD is saying they'll actually pop up tomorrow morning. So we've all got money on your honey badger. I wish you all the best.
I'm still going to stay there and watch them.
I see one of the youngsters coming back up now. He's yawning. In the back, he might just come join the rest of the pride. Come, no, plonk himself right behind that bush, of course. The young male has not moved again yet. He's sleeping quite well. Strange, they don't look hungry. It looks like they might have fed last night, maybe on something like a zebra or wildebeest. They don't look hungry at all. And when the young male was standing up, his body looked good. I can't really tell how bad his limp is, though I don't really think that's ever going to recover fully. But his body looked good, so he has been eating. You know, and he has been, well, he's been eating whatever the pride's been hunting. I'm not too sure if he's actually pulling his weight when it comes to the hunting part, but he's definitely been having some food. Luckily, the Ross male that came in was the one with the lighter mane, and not the other, as you know him, the grumpy brother. See, the white line in the back is up and stretching. Also coming towards the pride. Dan, a 9-year-old from Johannesburg, wants to know when are these lion cubs going to become independent? So Dan, these cubs will stay with the pride. The females will stay with the pride and just become part of the pride as they grow older. The males will actually end up leaving. So it depends how long their dads are able to keep this territory, how long the Ross males are able territorial over the pride. Usually at about 2.5 to 3 years old, they'll be kicked out. Saying that, and huge emphasis on usually. Oh, she looks beautiful in this infrared. Emphasis on usually, because the young male there in the back is already over 4, and he should not be with the pride anymore. But he's still here. He just does not want to leave. But yeah, all the lionesses will become part of this pride. It's going to be absolutely amazing. You have 6. Well, if all of them survive and all of them make it, you'll have 6 joining and already 5 females. Make a pride of 11. Don't know what's going to happen. Oh, maybe the young male is going to stick around forever as well. 12. Be quite interesting to see what happens as well, because one of the new cubs is a male, but he's a year and 7 months younger than the youngest male of the youngsters, of the bigger cubs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if he leaves with them, with the other males, or if he sticks around for longer. Oh, she's not going to play with the mom. That is a lioness that was so irritated with a fly a little bit earlier. This is the young lioness, the young white lioness, coming to wake everyone up. A paw on the head. Oh, look, she's grabbing her. Yeah, Emma was saying, like, how cool does a white lion look in black and white? And she's literally coming to greet all the females, all the larger lionesses. Except the one with the cubs. I don't think she's brave enough. Oh, right on top of one of the lions there. And she's grooming the neck of that female. She's coming for love. See the paw on the back. Camo Pug is commenting that she's a little troublemaker. You know, she is. Even when she was younger, she was a bit naughtier than her sister, but braver as well. It's like looking at these 2 cubs. The little lioness seems to be the naughty one compared to the little male. Can you hear the soft moaning that's going on here? It's awesome. The cub climbing all over mom. She tried to go around the other side to look for another teat, hoping that mom would... See the fighting I was talking about earlier, and of course it's hurting the mom, so you could see the mom baring her teeth and opening that leg to make more space for them to drink. Okay, so I think we might say goodnight, just because the young cubs are here and it's getting quite a bit dark, as you can see on the screen. So we're going to leave the pride here. I think Sean might actually come look for them in the morning again, see if we can pick up where they've gone. But for now, we're going to send you over to Tswalu Kalahari, who's still enjoying the beautiful sunset.
We are not giving up at all. There's no ways we're going to give up. We're going to sit here as long as it takes. But I'm a bit concerned. I think Chandra is going to win this one. But let's see. We've still got a good 20 minutes to go before bets are off. The other thing is, same as the meerkats. In cool weather like this, by staying underground, they can actually conserve a lot of energy. The catch to that is the next 4 days, almost 5 days, are going to be very, very, very cold. So I would imagine these badgers, unless they had a really good meal, I would imagine they're going to be out fairly early in the evening, if not even very, very soon. But yeah, that's the way it goes. You know, it's just sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But it's about putting in the time, putting in the effort, and just being patient about it. And geez, look what we're looking at. I mean, yeah, we're very, 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 very lucky to be out here. And for me, it's just like the suspense, this excitement of, you know, you're sitting out here looking at this incredible sunset. You know you've got badgers within 150 yards of you. Down a burrow, fair enough, still sleeping. But still, you know, we're well downwind of them. We're being very, very quiet. All our radios are off. a straight line from where the island yeah. Yeah, and that cold front, that you got just keep following, just keep watching us, because I think it's going to be quite entertaining watching Genre and myself like trying to survive. But we'll do it. But in a straight line distance from where we are here to where the island burrow system is, it's about 5 kilometers in a straight line. So this is very, very likely the same badger that caused havoc with the Khosa group in Mosadi. But at least now she's far away, and yeah, let's see what transpires. But we're going to sit it out here for the next couple of minutes still, or until it's too dark to see. But in the meantime, I head back over to the lions and see what they got on that side.
Well, we have definitely been on lion watch for quite a long time now. These lions haven't been up too much in the last 30 minutes or so. At first I actually thought that this lioness was quite skinny and maybe she hadn't fed for a while. But since I've been here a bit of time and had a proper look at her, she's actually got quite a full belly. So I think must have been maybe last night these lions must have eaten something, but who knows what. But I hear you've had another amazing sunset over in the Kalahari. It blows my mind how the sunset there is so much later than it is here, probably 20-25 minutes later. It's amazing. But with them being all the way on the western side of South Africa, it kind of does make sense. So these lions are quite spread out. There's one straight in front of the car. There's this lioness that we're obviously shining on now. There's another lioness and a young one that are literally right behind the vehicle. And another one lying quite far off on the right. So they all have just split up. I can hear a hyena calling far in the distance on the right hand side as well, and it's also the right time for them to start getting more active, with them being nocturnal. It's a perfect time for them to start moving around, and they could, wherever these lions killed something last night, if it was last night, which it looks like it was, those hyenas might, maybe because it's been quite a windy day, they might have smelt where the carcass is from these lions, and maybe they'll head off there. Shane, I really can't say why this lioness is so beautiful, but she really is. That she, it's weird to give them almost human traits, but she really is beautiful. Well, while we sit here and contemplate this lioness's beauty, we're going to send you across to Trish for a little surprise up in a tree.
It's so exciting, and it is in a tree, and it's one of my favorite things to find out here in the evenings. You guessed it, it's a chameleon. Yes, I understand that there are a couple leaves that are blocking most of it, but I am just ecstatic to have finally found one. It's been a good few weeks since I've seen one, especially with the cold weather. Obviously, it is a reptile, so it gets a bit more difficult to actually spot them, because they'll start to get into places that are a little warmer, start to get closer towards the main branch of the tree with little dents. But this is quite a large one. I'd say with tail extended, it's about 30 centimeters, which is a big flap-necked chameleon. I think it's about the biggest one I've ever seen here. There's a nice close-up of that tail all curled up. Ain't a girl, you say, a chameleon? Way to go. Oh, I'm very happy. I'm as excited as you are to have found it. It's quite large indeed. Aren't they just stunning? Now I feel like finding a whole lot more. It can be quite difficult to find them in the day because of the obvious coloration. And them being the king of camouflage. And then you say that the tail looks like a green cinnamon roll. Oh, honey badger with Dylan, let's go over.
It's just come out. It's just come out. The honey badger's come out. We're going to wait. It just popped out the barrow. And it's going to come out again. I'm so excited. I want to talk very, very slow. I can't believe this. It's out. It's out. It's out. Okay, it's going to come out again. We must just sit very, very quietly. Sit very quietly. This is amazing. There, it's out. There. You can see it. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it, guys? Can you believe it? It's a real live honey badger for us. I don't know. I'm blown away. Now the big thing is, will we see the second one? I want to talk very, very, very quietly. I can't. This is just unreal. This is unreal. I'm just so excited. No noise. I'm not going to take questions now unless I can answer them very, very, very quietly. We can maybe talk about honey badgers tomorrow morning. I'm absolutely, yes. It's going to come out now. So this is very normal for them. Yes, this is just off the charts, guys. But you see, it's just sitting. You got to just be patient. Very, very, very patient. Now the big question is it a female with a cub? Is it a male with a female? Or is it just one animal? Maybe the other one left during the day. This is unreal. Oh, we are so lucky. We are so lucky. We'll just be very quiet. Sometimes what they do is they come out and they mess around a little bit at the entrances like the meerkats do, and then they go back down and they'll sleep a little bit longer. They normally do their ablutions outside the burrows, so it could also just be that they go out and they go back in again. But anyway, we're just going to stick it out and see what happens. I am absolutely ecstatic. And this is the benefit of, even if you know an animal's in a particular place, there's no need to go right up to them. You know, you actually got a far greater chance of seeing them if you move further away. Use the wind to your advantage and just sit quietly. I think very often the temptation is to go there and walk up or drive up close and have a look. Is it still there? Just don't even think of doing that. Just go on your animal behavior and say, well, the likelihood is very strong that they haven't come out the burrow during the day. Of course, you can be wrong. They could have gone. But the likelihood is strong that they didn't. So what we're seeing now is very, very typical. Popping up, going down, popping up, going down. So I'm absolutely over the moon. This is like, I've had like 2 Christmases in 3 days with a pangolin, and now honey badgers. This is just off the charts. And it's amazing having you all with us, yeah. These hartstikke. Oh, it's so great. But yeah, this is absolutely incredible. Yes, if I didn't see another animal for the next month, I'd still be super happy. But I think we'll see more animals. Don't stress. Oh my word. This is like my Christmases for the next 10 years. There's a second one. Keep it on that first one. Keep it on the first one. There's a baby. It's a baby. It's a mom with a baby. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can't believe this. This is unreal. It's a mom with a cub. Okay. That's Christmas for the next 20. This is Christmas for the next 20 years. Yay. Yes. I don't have words. Yes. I love it when that works. Jeez. I think get over to Tswalu. She's got some amazing stuff that side. Also one of my favorite animals. Yes.
I know it's one of Dylan's most favorite animals. We chatted about chameleons, and this is the second one we found, guys. Not too far from the other one that we just had. But this one is actually shedding a little bit. Can you see that? Oh. Alright, we're going to go to infrared. There's a hyena behind us. Where did you go, hyena? It didn't want to rain on the chameleon's parade. Let's reverse a little bit and see if we can manage to find it. Oh no, it's slinked away into the bushes. I might just in the last few minutes go and just check this quarter, because it was going right there and then here. I don't know if I'm hearing sounds or I'm not hearing sounds, but I need to go and check. Thank you, Chameleon. Sorry that we're going and you didn't get as much time as the last Chameleon, but I'll come back to you. Let's go around quick. Pretty excited that I got chameleons though. Three would be awesome. But we're looking for bigger things now. Not the smoothest road. All right. Okay, I'm going to see if I can pick up anything on this side, but I'll send you over to Dylan, who's a little bit more calm.
So I really don't know what to say. I was genuinely at a loss for words. Look at the sunset that we have here. That sky. I don't care how cold it is tomorrow. It can go to minus 30 for all I care. I am over the moon. I am in absolutely second heaven. That was like, I love honey badgers. I love everything out there. Like, they're all my favorites. But I've got a particularly soft spot for honey badgers. And definitely not because they're aggressive or so-called. You could see those little guys came out, they were super shy. All they wanted to do was have a look, and then they just moved away. I've just got a huge soft spot for them. They are just the most remarkable little characters of the bush. And I think I couldn't have, if I could have given anyone a gift, it would have been a sighting of those honey badgers today. So I hope you all really, really enjoyed that as much as Jean-Andre and I did. I mean, Jean-Andre's been sitting here with me, and I'm like, no, they're going to come out. And he just had like the utmost patience. Joy, I've been very, very lucky. I have seen mom and cub honey badgers before. Not on Tswalu though. They're all around, and you see their tracks, but they're quite shy little animals. And so seeing them like this, and it was just like, that was amazing. But it just shows, there's a lot of things to be said. And yes, I get excited about something like this, but you can get a guest that comes out that gets absolutely excited and worked up about spiders. That is amazing. It doesn't have to be something big or something small. It could be getting excited about cloud formations and all the different kinds of clouds and names and the colors, and and artists come out and they get excited. It's about everything out there. It's not just about one species. But you know what? If one species makes you happy, that's also brilliant. But I think it just highlights the diversity, not just here, but where all of our colleagues are working as well. Every place you go to has got its own special things. And I think if we can, aim at conserving these places for perpetuity, these are the kind of rewards that you get. These healthy systems, and with all the little component parts. And it's just wonderful, as always, that you're able to join us on these journeys, and that it's such for myself in particular, it's just a huge, huge privilege. And I know I'm talking on behalf of all of our colleagues in the greater industry. It's going to be, again, tomorrow's going to be exciting. We don't know what we're going to get. I really go out without any plan normally. But please join us tomorrow, and we'll look forward to having you with us, and have a good rest. And from Jean-Andre and myself, thank you.